Hello everybody, and welcome to the third Industria devlog. So this devlog is basically going to be continuing Industria. So if you're not already aware, then well, first of all, you should go back and watch the previous two devlogs. But second of all, Industria is a tech mod I am making for the latest version of Minecraft. So what am I going to be doing in this devlog? What is my plans for this devlog? So my plan is that I will add a researcher. So my idea for this mod is that you can't just craft machines straight off the bat. And I know that might disappoint some of you because I think that's what people like to do. But my idea is that there's going to be some sort of research system. I haven't exactly decided like how you'll get research points or anything. I'm not sure about that yet. I initially thought XP, but then I thought maybe XP isn't the most ideal solution, because it's just gonna encourage loads of grindy mob farming, which is no fun, especially not in a tech-based gameplay. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it yet. Another idea I had was maybe you collect items, and each different item you collect gives you a research point. But I think that would be really weird in different scenarios, so maybe that's not a good idea either. But that's probably not something I'm actually going to implement yet. So if you have any ideas for how you think that research system should be done, I would love to know. I think the first few machines won't use that research system. Maybe just more advanced machines, or maybe upgrades to machines. I'm not sure, but either way, I want to add a research system. So I've actually already started on something, so I can show you this here. I've added a researcher. And if I place this down, you see it's completely black. And there is also missing texture here, as you can see. So essentially this will be the block, and there's this floating part in the middle. So my idea is that this floating part will move around in this frame at the top, and it will shoot down basically a beacon beam onto the lower area here. You can't really see it because it's so dark, but there is sort of an indent in that area there. And my idea is it will sort of slowly build a template of what you're actually researching. That's kind of my idea, and that might change. I might change it so that it does a blueprint instead, which is what I did in Dirty Chemistry. But I think it'd be quite nice to sort of build essentially a replica of the model that would come out from what you research, and that also gives me an opportunity to actually use this space. So yeah, I could just basically have this zoom around and build the different parts. So that's my idea, and that's probably what I'll do in this devlog. So I have actually added a GUI for this as well. This is just using the biomass generator GUI. This one right here. It's the exact same GUI. I haven't changed it yet. So I'll go and do that in a minute. And I'll get this moving around, and then I'll add like recipes for it, and obviously a collision box as well, because currently it's just a normal block, which is no fun. Yeah, that's my plan for this devlog. Have I done anything between that other than this? I don't think so. I think that's all I've done. What I also might do in this devlog is some more energy related stuff, which I did talk about in the previous devlog, so I'll probably do those as well. So yeah, you can see those now, because I'll get started on them now. Well everybody, I'm back already. So this devlog is going to be a bit weird, as with all of the devlogs so far. I haven't really been able to record much, so what you're seeing right now is actually the only footage I've recorded, because As I think I've talked about many times, my OBS is just not really working, so I don't have any recording software, basically. So, yeah, that's kind of a bit of a pain, and it's very much halting this devlog. This is why it's taken so long to get out. And also, I have done a lot of work. So, yeah, it's been about 16 days since I've recorded this clip that you're seeing right now. It is now the 17th of December, so yeah, it's been quite a while, and this devlog is going to be very different. The original idea of this devlog, I've already talked about that, but that's not going to be what's happening in this devlog. So I'm just going to kind of show you some clips of what I've done, or clips of the final output of what I've done, and I'll talk about those. I did work on the researcher, but not really to the extent that I originally intended to, because I just got a bit bored with it, to be honest. I spent probably about just over a week on the researcher, and I wasn't really getting anywhere, or I was, but it was very slow progress. So, yeah, we'll continue this clip here, and then you can see what I've actually done in this long amount of time. Alright, so let's talk about the researcher. So here it is. It doesn't have a model or anything, but we can place it down as we could before, and we can open up a GUI. And here's a basic scroll panel, basically, with a button. I'll show you some pictures on screen right now of what it actually looks like. I didn't actually get any footage for it, but you see this bit at the top that moves around, as I discussed in the beginning. And the bit at the bottom is where it would theoretically render the model. And if we get some biomass and we pick it up, you see it says in chat we created biomass, and that's basically how research will work. So you can put it in here and you can research the things that are related to biomass and then press the button. And next here we have the log stripping, very basic thing. You strip logs right clicking with an axe. It doesn't work if you shift right click, and you'll see why in a minute. And the same works with actual log wood blocks as well. So here we have all of the wooden blocks. We have the logs with the leaves, the sapling, the planks, the stairs, the slabs, the fences, the fence gates, the doors, the trapdoors, the pressure plates, the buttons, the signs, the boats, and the chest boats. Some of these actually took a really long time. The boats, for example, are a real pain to do, since Mojang doesn't really have a very good implementation for them. And the signs, they were a bit of a pain as well, but eventually I managed to get them to work. You will see most of these are just recolorations of oak, to be honest, because I haven't created proper textures for them. At some point I will consider doing that, but not right now. So this is actually a bit complicated, this one, but I'm going to try and explain it my best I can. So as you can see here, when we place down a log, we have a latex level 4, and we also have 2 booleans, stripped and tapped. Now if we shift right click the log, you'll see the stripped goes from false to true. And I'm just using the F3 menu to show you this. Now if we grab a tree tap, we can then place it on that log, and we can only do that if it is stripped, and that will just change the tapped boolean to true from false. And I'm just going to increase the tick speed here because it's quite slow by default, so I put it to 200, but that doesn't seem to be changing anything. So just watch that latex level up there. You'll see it's currently 4. I might just increase the tick speed a bit higher. We'll try maybe 500, and just watch that latex level. You see it went from 4 to 3, and if you look in the tree tap, that's gone from 0 to 1, and now it's gone from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, and you'll see it slowly starts to increase as the log will decrease. And we also have this is done boolean on the tap, and that is just when it's extracted all the latex. And also we can go ahead and actually strip the log afterwards as well if we wanted to do that. Now if we grab a bucket and then we right click the tree tab, you see our latex level goes down by 1 and we get a new item in our inventory, and we can do that as many times as there is still latex. And this new item that we get is a latex bucket. If we go in survival, you see it actually uses up our bucket as well, rather than in creative when it doesn't. Alright, so here we have the saplings, and this is just basically going to grow some trees. So it did take me a while to get these trees to actually work. There was a lot of variations I had to worry about, where it was doing weird glitches and things were floating in the air and weird stuff. But as you can see, I think they look quite nice. They're very tall trees, and that is intentional. Real rubber trees are about, I think, like 30 foot tall. But yeah, I think they look quite nice. In the clip, that they are growing really fast. That is because I have my tick speed quite high. They don't actually grow that fast. They grow normal speed of any other sapling. It's no different. It was just to speed up this video and nothing else. So here are the boats, and as you can see, the boat chest does actually have a chest in it. We can put some items in there, so I'm just going to grab some random items, plonk them in there just to show that does work. Should be fairly obvious, but yeah, it does work. And we can go around in the boats. Don't have any water, but it's fine. Like any other boat, they can go on land, and they are no different to any other boats. I don't really know why I'm showing you this, to be honest, but here you go. Anyways, that's boats. That's boats for you. And here we have the signs. So once again with the boats, I don't really know why I'm showing you this, but you can place down some signs, and I give you a sweet message like I love you, and it works like a sign. It is what it is, and we can obviously place it on a wall as well, and yeah, I mean, signs work perfectly fine. So just to show you that it's all flammable and stuff, I'm just going to place down your good old flammable wooden blocks. I don't know why I grabbed a boat. I didn't mean to grab a boat. It's obviously not flammable. But if we set it on fire, over time it will slowly start to burn. It's not really proving my point here, because it's not. Oh, there you go. Now it's spreading. That took a hot minute, but it does burn. Don't worry. And I'm also just going to show you that they can be used as fuel in a furnace. These may sound like really basic and obvious things, but they're actually a real pain to do. They're not as simple as you might think. The way that it's sort of implemented in Forge, and I guess just Mojang code, is not great. It's not very intuitive, and yeah, it's just not that simple to use, but they do all work in a furnace. I've gone through each of them and I've tested them, and they do work. So you got bows, you got logs, you got wood. They all work in a furnace. And as well, let's go ahead and look at that tree burning down. So yeah, it's basically all burnt down at this point, and yeah, that is flammability and furnace fuels. So the next thing here that I'm actually going to talk about is something called the projector. I'm not really going to explain much about it, but this is another block I have just added. It x-rays through the world at the moment because it doesn't have a model, but this is actually going to be a very exciting feature when it does come into fruition. So the final thing I'm going to show you is the latex fluid. So I'm just going to grab the bucket here and place it down. And it does have a missing texture, as do so many things, because I haven't done a texture for it yet. But this latex fluid will be very, very important. As I said, I don't want to discuss too much with it because I have some exciting plans. But just note that this will be a very important thing in upcoming devlogs. So yeah, that is about it for this devlog. I know it's been very scuffed and I didn't really follow my plans, but that is what it is. Hopefully the next devlog should be a bit more organised. I know I keep saying that. I'm probably going to keep saying that for the rest of eternity, but hopefully it will be more organised and in a more timely fashion, maybe. So yeah, it's almost Christmas, of course, so if you do celebrate Christmas, then Merry Christmas and have a happy Christmas. And yeah, if you did enjoy this devlog, obviously give it a like and subscribe as well, so you don't miss the next one, because I don't know when that will be. So you don't know when it will be either, but if you subscribe, you might know. So yeah, goodbye.